Hi students, welcome back to Wisdom Academy YouTube channel. In the previous video, you have learnt about resistors in series and parallel. We also solved numericals based upon that, and I said you that you have to solve n number of numericals to have a command over this topic. I hope you are solving it. The more numericals you solve in the cases for the resistors in series and parallel, the more good you will become in the topic. Today we are going to see heating effect of electric current. So Joule was a person who found that whenever the current is flowing through a conductor, it is heating it. So suppose I have a circuit in which the wire current is flowing in this wire from here to here, like this it is flowing. It was observed that this whole wire along with this resistance, everything gets heated up. This effect of the current was known as heating effect of electric current. So is it a good effect or bad effect? Most of you would have seen this. Have you seen that? Suppose you are putting your mobile in charge and your mobile is of metallic body. After some time you feel it is little hot. So when you are running a fan for a longer time, touch the fan after some time. If it is stopped, you will feel it is little hot. When you are glowing the bulb for some time, touch the bulb from outside, after some time it will feel little hot. So wherever the current is flowing, it is heating the device. Is it good or is it bad? So in one way we can say it is good, in one way we can say it is bad. First of all, I will tell you why we can say it is bad. Because heating can cause other kind of problems. For example, if the fan is always getting heated, its serviceability may increase, or we can say that it may get short down easily. So in that case it is undesirable. In another case, if you see bulbs, so bulb gets heated too much, so that spoils the quality of glass present outside the bulb. Again, it is undesirable. But see, we have electric heater, we have electric toaster. We are taking the help of this effect for a positive use. So in those cases, the heating effect of electric current is very desirable. So I will talk about the applications of heating effect of electric current later in this part. First of all, let us find how much heat is produced when the current is passing through a conductor. For doing that, I have taken the circuit and this is the resistance R and the current I is flowing through it with the potential difference that is V. So now, I hope you have studied what is power. So what is power? In your ninth you have studied this in the chapter work, energy and power, and they would have studied that power is work done per unit time. So work done per unit time is known as power. Now why I am finding power? I am trying to find what is the power produced when the current is flowing in the circuit. So we know that work done in the case of charge is what is work done? Work done is equal to, first let us recall the formula of potential. Electric potential is equal to work done per unit charge. I told you when I told the definition of electric potential is work done per unit charge. So from here I can write work done is potential into charge. So I will use this formula of work done and I will write power is equal to V into Q by T. Now what is Q by T? Q by T is I, current. So I can write power is equal to V into I. This is the formula of power, that is power is equal to voltage into current. So what is the SI unit of voltage? It is volts, current is ampere. So we can say the power, the SI unit of power is volt ampere, or even we can also say it as watt, right? So I can say 1 watt is equal to 1 volt into 1 ampere. This is the way we represent watt in terms of volt and ampere. Now, still I have not found what is the energy, because energy, how much heat energy is produced, that is still to be founded. What is energy? Energy is power into time. So let us try to find what is the heat energy. Heat energy is equal to power into time. So what is power? Power is Vi and time is T. So the heat energy H is equal to Vi2. We know V is equal to IR. So I can write this as I square RT. So heat energy produced in any conductor when it has a resistance R and when the current is flowing through the conductor for time T is H is equal to I square RT. This is known as Joule's law of heating. It is known as Joule's law of heating. And what it says that heat energy produced when the current is flowing through a conductor is directly proportional to the square of the current, is directly proportional to the resistance, is directly proportional to the time of flow of current. This was even found by using an experiment called as Joule's calorimeter experiment, in which he had a device called as calorimeter, where he had some resistances connected to a battery, and then first case what he did, he kept the resistance constant. If I tell you in short, there was one calorimeter taken, in that there was one circuit made, and in the circuit there was some resistance and it was connected to a source of potential difference. So first what happened, he first kept the resistance constant and time has constant, and he kept on increasing the current. How he can increase the current? By increasing the voltage. So he kept on making one cell, 2 cell, 3 cell, 4 cell, and passed the current for the same amount of time, and same resistance was used, and then he found whatever heat is coming out is increasing. As the current was increasing, the heat was increasing square times of that. Then what he did second time, he kept the current constant and he kept time of flow constant, he changed the resistance. So he kept only one battery, and he kept time like 10 seconds only it has to flow, and resistance he took 1 ohm, then he took 2 ohm, then he took 3 ohm, 4 ohm, 5 ohm. By keeping the current and time constant, he found that heat energy is proportional to resistance. And then third case what he did, he kept the current and resistance constant and he changed the time of flow of current. So he flowed the current for 1 second, 2 second, 10 second, 20 second, 40 second, and he again found that heat energy is directly proportional to the time of flow of current. So this is Joule's law of heating, where it says that heat energy which is produced in a conductor when the current is passing through it is I square RT. We are going to discuss about what are the practical applications of it. Now let us talk about some of the practical applications of heating effect of electric current. So some things are very common in use, like we use electric heater, which is the most common application. Electric heater, I will write electric heater. We have electric toaster, isn't it? So these things, electric heater or electric toaster, are most commonly used applications of heating effect of electric current, where when we are switching on the current and it is heating the plate, and then we are using it for our purpose of cooking. Apart from that, one of the most important application of heating effect of electric current was used much before in the form of bulbs. So we had filament bulbs those time. I don't know how many of you have seen this bulb in today's generation, but go 15 years back, this was the only bulb in every home. So this bulb used to look like this, and it used to emit some kind of yellow light. Inside this bulb, we used to have filament like this, which is made up of tungsten wire. So those who have seen this bulb, they will understand it better, that in this bulb, the current used to flow through this tungsten, and by the heating of effect of electric current, it used to get heated up, and then that heat was getting converted into light, and it was emitting outside. You may ask, sir, if it is getting heated, it will get too much heated, no? Yeah, it will get too much heated. That's the reason we chose tungsten material, because this material is having very high melting point and it also has very high resistance. So remember that the filament of the bulb will have high melting point and high resistance. So what happens? Since it is a high melting point, even if it gets too much heat, it will not melt, it will not be melted up. Moreover, this heat has a chances of affecting the bulbs outside, that glass bulb outside. So we will keep some inactive gases here. Inactive gases like nitrogen, argon. These gas will create some thermal insulation between this filament and the bulb, and the heat will be in a controlled manner. Otherwise, that much heat can even burst this bulb. So we always use some inactive gases inside this bulb to make thermal insulation. So this is about the filament bulb. So one of the heating effect of electric current is filament bulb, where we use the heating effect to produce light. One more application can be, it is used in fuse wires, I will say. So most of you would have seen in the home, we have something called as fuse wire, and the fuse wire is the wire in which, if suppose excess current comes or some short circuiting happens, that wire will get melted up and it will save your whole home supply. So, always this fuse is connected in series, so that if any faulted current is coming inside your home, in the beginning itself it will get melted. So, it will never be in parallel. Fuse wires are always connected in series, so that whenever the excess current comes in the wire, it gets melted. So, this fuse wires, it want to get melted, it has low melting point. At the same time, it has high resistance. Why it has high resistance? Because if the resistance is low, then the current may flow from the wire immediately. Resistance being high, the current moves slowly for the wire to feel whether the current is inappropriate or appropriate. If it is too much excess, it will get melted up. When it gets melts, the circuit is broken and the whole of your home is saved from that excess current. So, fuse wires, you would have seen fuse wires are of different rating, like we have 1 ampere fuse, we have 2 ampere fuse, we have 5 ampere fuse. So, fuse is used in accordance with what load you are using or what device you are using. So, suppose in a home we are using some heavy appliances, then the fuse should be of higher ampere. So, how to find that, what what rating of fuse you should use? We know that P is equal to V into I. So, suppose you are using a AC which has a power of 1000 watt, and suppose we know that voltage in domestic supply is around 220 volt. So, when you put by 220, it will come 4 point something, 4.8 or something. So, approximately equal to 5. So, here we will use a 5 ampere fuse. So, suppose we have appliance where you have only 100 watt thing. So, 100 by 250, it will give you 220, it will give you some point something. So, 1 ampere is enough there. So, based upon what devices you are using, the fuse rating is decided. If you are using heavy appliances, then the fuse rating will be higher. If you are using light appliances, then the fuse rating will be lower. These are some of the practical applications of heating effect of electric current. Let us talk about electric power. Just now, before some time I have told what is electric power, and I told power is equal to V into I. Power is equal to V into I. How you define electric power? Rate at which the electric energy is dissipated. Rate at which the electrical energy is consumed is known as electric power. Now, this electric power, just now I told that what is the SI unit of it? It is watt. So, I said 1 watt is equal to 1 volt into 1 ampere, that is called as 1 volt ampere. So, 1 watt is 1 volt ampere, and generally we do not use watt because watt is a very small unit. We take kilowatt or megawatt, we take in that. So, if it is kilowatt, it will be equal to 1000 watts, and if it is megawatt, it will be equal to 10 to the power 6 watts. So, we use this kind of units generally because watt is a very small unit. What is electrical energy? That is commercial unit of electrical energy. Commercial unit of electrical energy. You have talked about this in 9th standard also. So, electrical energy, since it is a kind of energy, we have to multiply the power into time. So, electrical energy, power is kilowatt and time is taken in hours. So, the commercial unit of electrical energy is kilowatt hour. It is also called as 1 unit. So, 1 unit is equal to 1 kilowatt hour. So, to understand it better, we understand that if any appliance of 1000 watt is used for 1 hour, then the commercial unit of electricity is 1 unit. I mean to say that you would have seen that bills in your home is coming in units. It will not come in kilowatt or kilowatt hour, it will come in units. So, they will say how much bill came this time, 200 units came, 500 units came, 1000 units came. So, they will say units. That means, if we say this time the bill has come 200 units, it means it is 200 kilowatt hour. That means, you have used 200 kilowatt hours of electrical energy. So, can you calculate this? Yeah, very easily you can calculate this. So, suppose you want to calculate in your home daily how much units you are using, you can just take the power rating of each device. Suppose in a home you have 1 AC and you have 1 fridge and you have 1 TV and you have 2 fans and you have 2 bulbs, for example, and you know the rating of each thing. So, AC, let me assume it is 1000 watt, fridge, let me assume it is 200 watt, TV now it is 100 watt, fan I am assuming 50 watt each, and bulb I am assuming 20 watt each, because nowadays we have LEDs. So this gives me 0.1 kilowatt. This gives me this is 1 kilowatt, 1 kilowatt. This gives me 0.2 kilowatt, 0.1 kilowatt. This gives me 0.05 kilowatt, and this gives me this will be 0.1 because I am having two fans, and this will be 0.04 kilowatt. So if you add everything, 1 plus 0.2 plus 0.1 plus 0.1, so 1.4, 1.44. So 1.44 kilowatt I am using in 1 hour. So if all these things are running for 1 hour, then I am having 1.44 units. So if I am running everything for 10 hours in a day, I will have 14.4 units, and multiply by 30 you will get for 1 month. So very easily you can itself calculate what will be my approximate bill of home if you multiply the kilowatt, that is the rating, with the time in hours. So you take the unit of power in kilowatt, and you should take the time in hours. If you multiply these two things, you will get unit, and at 1 unit will be the what is the commercial unit of electric energy. Let us see some numericals. An electric motor takes 5 ampere from 220 volt line. Determine the power of motor and energy consumed in 2 hours. So we want to find the power also and energy also. We know power is equal to V into I. So what are things are given? Let us write the given data first. Given quantities are power, I is given as 5 ampere, V is given as 220 volt, and time is given as 2 hours. So first power formula is V into I. So what is V? V is 220, I is 5. So when you multiply 1100 watts is the power. So power is 1100 watts. What is the energy consumed? We know energy will be equal to power into time. That is heat energy actually. So what is power? Power is 1100. What is time? Time is 2 hours converted to seconds. So 2 hours will be equal to how many minutes? 60 minutes, and how many seconds? 60 seconds. So when you multiply the whole this quantity and write, that much joules will be the energy which is consumed. So one thing I forgot to tell you that time, that 1 kilowatt hour, if you want to convert into joules, you can convert, because 1 kilowatt hour will be equal to 1 kilowatt is how many watts? 1000 watt, and now 1 hour is how many seconds? 60 into 60 seconds. That will give you 360000 joules. So we write it as 3.6 into 10 to the power 6 joules. So 1 kilowatt, this is asked frequently in examination. 1 kilowatt hour is equal to 3.6 into 10 to the power 6 joules. Second question. An electric iron of resistance 20 ohm takes 5 ampere current. Calculate the heat developed in 30 seconds. So heat energy, again by using Joule's law of heating, I square RT. So what is I given? I is given as 5 ampere. What is resistance given? 20. What is time given? 30 seconds. So 25 into 20 into 30, this will give you 500 into 30, that will be equal to 15,000 joules. So what is the heat energy produced? It is 15,000 joules. So in today's class, what we have seen? We have seen about the heating effects of electric current. I talked about Joule's law of heating there. Then we also talked about what are the practical applications of heating effect of electric current. I gave some examples for that. Then I told you what is electric power, what is the commercial unit of electric power. We solved some numericals based upon this. With this, we come to an end of this chapter, current electricity. In the upcoming chapter, you will learn about magnetic effects of electric current. Please keep on solving the numericals, solve all the textbook questions, and then only you will get the concept cleared. Fine. So please like the video, subscribe the channel, and share with your friends. Thank you.